In this video, we'll answer the question, what do I need to score on the final to get some desired grade, overall grade, in the course? Let's look at this hypothetical example. Let's say this student has these 4 midterm exams plus the final exam. And this student has earned the points. These are not percents now. These are just points earned. 75 out of a possible 75, and 70 out of 75, and 65 out of 75, and 70 out of 75. We still have the final exam to take, and I'll say that X equals the points needed on the remaining tests, or tests if there are more than one test, but this one is just one test. I'm going to put an X right here. How many points are needed to get the grade that is wanted? I think the best way to look at this is this way. Let's say this student wants a 90%. So I'll say 90%. Well, that translates directly to 90% of the total points possible. So 90% of all of these points possible. So that's these 475 pointers plus the 200 points. So 90% of the total 500 points. I'm going to write that down here. 90% written as a decimal is 0.90. Of typically means to multiply, so 0.9 times the total points possible of 500. So that means that this student needs 450 points by the end, after all the tests are taken, needs 450 points if the student wants to get a 90% in the class. Okay, let's just now look at how many points have been earned so far. 75, 70, 65, and 70. That adds up to 280. So we have 280 points earned so far, plus the number of points that are needed to get up to 450. I'm going to write that again down here. 280 points earned so far, plus the points that are needed to get up to 450. Well, you see what's going to go on here, what we need to do. We're going to subtract 280 from each side of this equation, and you will be left with X equals 170 points on the final. Now that's not a percent. Good thing, because you can't earn 170%. But 170 points, then, we can figure out what that translates to, of course. The 170 points out of a total of 200 would equal an 85% on the final, if you want to look at it that way. But those are two different ways to look at it. Either 170 points or an 85% on the final. And this student has maintained a bit of a buffer here, so they still have this, can get an 85% and still get a 90% in the whole class. Of course, you would aim for 100% on every test you take, but this is just a look at what you can do to figure out how many points you need in order to maintain or achieve a grade that you would like in the class. I hope that helps.